Woman threw down her engagement ring and walked into the airport. She chose to escape the wedding she had been waiting for 8 years. Her fiancé, waiting at the wedding venue, couldn't find her. He angrily called her, but she hung up. At that moment, he still thought she was just throwing a tantrum. So, he cancelled the wedding and rushed home to search for her. He searched the entire house but couldn't find her anywhere. Seeing her cosmetics and clothes gone, he finally realized that she had truly left him. For 8 years, the woman had deeply loved the man. But after the man became successful, he got very close with a secretary at the company. The woman became completely disappointed in him. Eventually, she followed her parents' arrangement and went to Hong Kong to marry her fiancé. But the man still couldn't believe she would abandon him. To stop her from marrying someone else, he immediately drove to the airport. However, he still missed her. She had already boarded a flight, leaving the heartbroken city. When she arrived at Hong Kong airport, she was greeted by the CEO, who turned out to be her childhood friend. They had even promised to marry each other when they grew up. Unexpectedly, fate brought them back together as marriage partners. After arriving at the villa, her future mother-in-law immediately gave her an expensive gift. After all, the two families had a very good relationship. Her future mother-in-law hoped they would grow even closer after marriage. Then, the CEO took the woman upstairs to see the wedding room. Everything was arranged according to her preferences. The woman was very pleased after seeing it. The next day was their wedding. The CEO had prepared a surprise for the woman. Just as he went out to fetch the gift, someone knocked on the door. She mistakenly thought it was the CEO returning quickly. But when she opened the door, she saw her former lover, the man she once loved most. The man's purpose was to take her back and continue their wedding. He promised to do everything according to her wishes. But at that moment, the woman no longer had feelings for him. She was about to marry the CEO. So, she asked him to leave immediately. The man insisted on taking her back home. Just then, the CEO returned and stopped him. Furious, he scolded the man for being too much. He said the woman was now his wife. But the man still thought the woman was marrying the CEO just to spite him. So, he begged the woman to return with him, swearing that he would agree to everything she wanted from now on. He even swore he had never done anything wrong with the secretary. However, when he called the secretary to testify, the secretary suddenly asked when he was going to marry her. Hearing this, the man became furious, and immediately fired the secretary. But even though he had severed ties with the secretary, it was too late. Now, the woman was ready to marry the CEO. The man immediately spread his arms to block her from leaving.